Setting up a new landing page for your business can be tough. So in this video, I'm going to cover exactly what a landing page is and how best to optimize it to get the best out of it. So the first thing that I ought to cover is exactly what a landing page is. The difference between a landing page and any other page on your website is this is going to be a page that you're actually directing traffic straight to in order to convert in some way. A conversion might be a sale, someone filling in a contact form, or someone just making a download. Remember, bringing traffic to your landing page is going to cost you time or money, so it's important to make sure that you get the best out of it. If your service or item isn't the sort of thing that people make on a whim, then it's worth playing the long game. To increase conversion rate, you may need to set up a sales funnel. For example, what you might want to do is take a free PDF download and offer them that first. Then later on use remarketing to sell the main item back to them. When it comes to designing the landing page, you ought to think about the copy first. Don't worry about the layout too much at the moment, just get the copy right and the rest will follow. There needs to be a call to action on the page, and the next steps that you want your client or customer to take should be clear and easy to follow. Be minimalist. Distracting people with multiple calls to action is only going to lower your conversion rate. Don't overcrowd a page, try to stick to one service or one product per page whenever possible. Even if you have more than one product with the same target audience, you still don't really want to put those all on the same page. Breaking down pages into subheadings and subsections is a really good idea. It means that not only does it make it easier for someone to read from top to bottom, but if there's a particular piece of information they're interested in, they can just zoom straight in and read that part all on its own. If you were to describe your product or service to a new customer or client, you probably wouldn't tell them every single term and condition. You'd just focus on the bit that they were interested in. You need to control the objections and challenges that your audience might be facing before they get to the CTA. That's the call to action. If you know your audience, you'll probably know already what sort of things they might not like about your offer or the sort of things that they might be concerned about. So just putting in a little section and explaining why it's not going to be a problem up front is a really good idea. When it comes to writing stuff down for your landing page, a good idea is to read it out loud. That way you can get a full understanding of exactly how it might sound to your audience. Let your audience know that you know who they are. Try to connect emotionally through the content whenever possible. And just another thing, don't shout at me. Putting everything in red text in capital letters isn't going to make me buy your product. You may also have heard a term called social proof. Now, social proof is generally when you put down some sort of testimonial or information from someone else who's already bought the product to make it more convincing to your new customer or client. Video converts really well. Make sure that there's a human being inside them rather than just an animation or animated text, like this. When it comes to images, try to evoke some sort of emotion. It's good to have pictures of a product if you've got one, but an even better thing would be to show the reaction that that product gets. So for example, if you're selling a bike, yeah, okay, you might want a close-up of the gears or the handlebars or something like that, but an even better picture would be a kid riding the bike with a big smile on his face. Next up, there's a couple of technical things that you might want to consider when you're building your page out. Number one is to consider what we call above the fold. Above the fold is the part of a web page that shows before you scroll any further down. It's important to make sure that you've got decent information in there and perhaps even add a call to action right there. Number two, speed optimization. We see a direct correlation between how well a landing page converts and the speed at which it loads. So making sure that you've got the right size images and stuff like that really can help. I made a video before all about some plugins that I'd recommend for use in WordPress, and if you're using that as your system, then you might want to check that out now because I do cover a little bit about speed optimization in that video. Number three is your mobile optimization. These days, the majority of people surf the web on their phone, so it's important to make sure that you optimize specifically for that. Before you launch anything, check it on your phone. So taking all of that information into consideration, the best thing to do for me would be to show you a landing page which I think works really well. Come on. So here we are. And as you can see, I've brought up Netflix's website. Now Netflix is a massive company and they spend lots and lots of time and money on their marketing, so it's a good idea to pay attention to companies like these and try and take as much inspiration as we can from them. The first thing you'll notice about their website is that the above the fold section is very clean and very organised. There's no menu, nothing to distract you from. They've just got a big call to action in the middle, and they've just got a sign up button or sign in button up at the top here. So if you go through this, it brings up a form and starts the sign up process, which is another page altogether. But that initial part of this is just to say, give us your email address and make it as easy as possible for you to sign up. Now, if you look just a little bit below that, above the fold line, you can start to see that you've got this beginning of text coming in. And if I scroll down on here, you'll see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 potential objections, and they've tried to answer each and every one of them. So the first thing that they mention is that this is the watch anywhere. So maybe they've got a bunch of people who think that perhaps their TV or device isn't compatible. Well, don't worry, they've listed them all out here, and you can see that more or less everything you can think of is going to be compatible with their service. Next down, they also go to talk about how you can download their programs and watch them offline. So that kind of helps again with anyone that might be thinking they might be watching in their lunch break, perhaps when they don't have an internet connection or something like that. Again, they talk about that you can watch them anywhere. Again, this must be one of their main objections as to why people don't actually sign up for Netflix at the moment. So they're very keen to answer that question and make sure that everything goes in here. And last but not least, you've got a little thing about creating profiles for children, which I assume is so that you can make sure that your kids don't watch things like horror films or whatever it is that you don't want them to see. Now, if we carry on down that a little further, you'll see that they've even gone into the FAQ section. And this is something which might grow over time. They might add to this as they come in. And what they've done here is basically done the same thing, but just in text format. So again, they also answer that question about the Netflix for kids. And they probably talk about a little bit about their profiles and things like that there. You've got children's profiles and PIN numbers and that sort of things. So that kind of answers most parents' questions and stops them from worrying too much about signing up for their kids. This section, as I say, might grow in time. So if over time they get asked the same question over and over again, this is really easy for them to just quickly put in that question and answer it here to stop them getting asked that question again in future. And last but not least, we've got that sign up button again. And this does exactly the same as it does at the top here. It's exactly the same form. It just sends them off to fill in the full form and probably put your credit card details in and all that sort of stuff at the end. But we don't need that on a landing page because it's just a distraction. We just want them to go straight through the sign up process. So hopefully you can see that if we take some of this stuff on board and try to use some of these techniques on our own landing pages, you will be in a better position and you'll have a much stronger landing page than if you go down any other route and try and develop it all by yourself. So just remember, got an above the fold, very clean, very easy to deal with. The most prevalent objections that any customers might have is written here with the answers to them and why they're not really as much of a problem as you might think. And beneath that, we've got the FAQs, which is the extended version of that, the ones where you've got a little bit more information. And again, we're making sure that this call to action is as easy to get to as possible by putting it in a couple of times on the same page. So I hope that helped. Let's head back upstairs. Well, there you go. I hope you found that useful. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below if there's any specific question that you want to ask us about marketing. See you soon.